Oh, no, I appreciate it. What an honor it is to be up here to represent the University of Miami and being a part of this historic conference. But I also want to start, just before we get started, of just thanking Coach L and Coach Larinaga for the last 14 years. Not only everything he did for the University of Miami, but also for the conference, but also as well as for the game of basketball. For me, starting this journey as my first year head coach and first time running the program, it was important for me to kind of make sure I built my foundation with guys who had pride in being at least from the state of Florida or from the area. I think it's hard in this day and age now with this portal and how things are to really get guys to buy into the university, and that's my job to get it. But at least this first year, I wanted to start it with guys who had pride being where they're from. And these three guys I brought with me, Trey Donaldson, Malik Renault, Ernest Uday, were the first three guys that I attacked in the portal and wanted to build it with. One, with them being from the state, but also just watching them and my foundation and how I want to play and how I wanted to build this team. I knew I wanted these three to be kind of the core, especially in building the first year of this program as well. So I'm excited about where we are and where we're headed and our opportunity to compete in the ACC and also in our schedule in the preseason as well this year. The thing I wanted to really make sure we established right away was just a culture of defense. And that's kind of my background and where I'm from and what I've been able to do. And so for me, I wanted to build it in that vision. And I think part of that is, one, you got to have great positional size. And that's kind of also how I built the team. And in doing that, it also gives us great versatility on that defensive end. I felt that was the way to be most competitive right away, especially in this league. But moving forward in college basketball, I think it's a big part of it too. So I'm really excited where we are, where we're headed, but I'm excited where we can be once we get into conference play moving forward.
Coach, thank you. Folks, we'll move the microphones around the room. If you have a question, please identify yourselves and the agency that you're with. And Coach, your first question will come right up front, first row left.
Coach, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You, in that intro, talked about Jim Larinaga, what he meant to this program. To go a little bit deeper into maybe what he means to you and what that connection is, if you have a deeper connection with him. And then secondly, just what it means that Miami saw in you as a first-time head coach, that you were the right fit, just reflecting on the fact that this opportunity came with such a storied program.
Yeah, so Coach L and my father have known each other for a really long time. When my dad was in college in the summers, they would go around and work at other schools' basketball camps. So he went and worked at Davidson, and every morning at 6 a.m., him and Coach L would get up and work out together, and they've had a bond and a friendship ever since then. And ever since I took the job, he was one of the first people to call me, congratulate me, and kind of talk me through it. And he was at practice yesterday. He has an open invitation. Like I've told him, this is really his program that he's built and took to new heights. So, for me, just having somebody who's sat in the chair and been very successful at the University of Miami with the basketball program has been important. And then, just for me, this is a great opportunity. I understand it is a big opportunity, but everything that I have been able and been blessed to do my time in coaching these last 12 years, one, starting with the great coaches that I've worked for, but I've been able to almost do every job within a program. I started as a GA. I was director of operations. I've been a head coach, associate head coach. Assistant coach, associate head coach, offense coordinator, defensive coordinator, recruiting coordinator. So I've done a little bit of everything. And I think just being able to kind of going through the process, give them my vision of what I felt the job could be, and just building on the foundation that was already there and taking it into this new era, I think we kind of aligned in that.
Coach, right side, third row.
Katrina Sackins, Sports Culture Media. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You talked about, hey, we're excited where we are, and we're excited as we head kind of into conference play. Yesterday, Commissioner Jim Phillips was talking about how excited he was for the vision for the ACC and where it can possibly be. What is your role in this?
My role is to make us as competitive as possible and make sure that our schedule and our non-conference also coming into the conference where we're able to be as high of a net team and a quad team as possible and being competitive, where the ACC traditionally is one of the greatest basketball conferences there is. And we should be a conference moving forward that we should put at least 6 to 7 teams. And I think, It's so hard because it's a reset, right? So we've had all these great giants of coaches who were in the ACC who have retired in the last couple of years with Coach K and Coach Boeheim and Roy Williams, Coach Hamilton going on. So there was going to be a reset, and there was going to be a couple of years where it needed to kind of figure out what it was going to be. And I think with some of the new coaches in, with Coach Odom and Coach Wade and the success they've had so many places, that we're headed and moving towards the right direction of being the premier conference in basketball again.
Coach, your last question. Up the center aisle, then to the left, fourth row.
Brett Friedlander, Hoops HQ. You mentioned that it's Coach L's program, but with basically a blank slate on the roster, it's your roster.
Yep.
Is it almost an advantage to be able to pick and choose and build a team in your own kind of style and image rather than have to kind of build around a returning core?
It's the biggest thing. It's a great question because it's the biggest thing in especially determining this first year. Yes and no. I guess the no part is you have to get 13 new players or 12 new players, where if you have a few that left over and a few that stay, it may be 6 or 7 new players that you have to get. But then the good part is it is in my vision of what I feel is comfortable with me and how I want to play and my coaching style. So, but also you have a week, maybe 2 weeks recruiting period when you're in the portal of trying to figure out, get guys on campus, get guys on Zoom, and figuring out who fits and who meshes. So I think the biggest part is once you get everybody, trying to create some type of connection and some type of just relationship throughout the summer moving towards when you play your first game, I think is the hardest part.